Today's episode is brought to you by Forvis Mazars.
SoundCartel.
From SoundCartel, I'm Nicole Goodman, and this is Business Essentials Daily. No one's going to buy from you if they don't know you exist. So how do you get the word out? And how do you know which marketing channels are right for your business? Well, a scattergun approach isn't the best strategy. Instead, choose one marketing channel and give it 100% effort for 90 days, then move on to another. That's the advice from Amy Miocevich, founder of Lumos Marketing and author of the very good marketing guide, How to Grow Your Business on a Budget. She explains the strategies of push and pull marketing to Chris Ashmore. Push channels are those that interrupt the customer journey, like radio or digital ads, while pull channels draw customers to you, like blogs and search engine marketing.
So things like Google search, Google advertising, directory listings. We talk about word of mouth as being a kind of pull marketing channel because often the conversation goes, hey, Chris, have you got any recommendations for an IT company? That kind of thing is someone actively searching for a solution. And then you've got what we call push marketing, which is more about you pushing your business in front of someone when they may not have been searching for a solution. But it does trigger something in their mind where they either go, oh, I'm going to remember this for next time, or you're right, I did have that problem, or wow, I really love the idea of this. And that's things like search display ads or social media advertising, the video pre-rolls that happen on YouTube or television advertising. It's interrupting someone going about their daily life with your solution to a problem that they may have not realized that they had. So they're kind of different channels, but it's important to recognize they both serve a purpose and they're both important to look at for your business.
One is not necessarily better or worse than the other. They serve their different purposes.
Yeah. And I mean, if you think about the competition that may be involved with your service offering, so the example I just said was an IT company, often using Google search to rank for IT companies as a search word is very, very competitive. It means that you may be spending a lot of money on that. And comparatively, if you ran some kind of Facebook advertising for it, it might interrupt someone when they might not necessarily be searching, but still get you a better result. So it really just depends on your business. And that's the whole premise of what we talk about in this book is picking one and focusing on it for a long enough amount of time to know whether it's cost effective for your business, whether it's getting you the leads that you want.
Well, can you elaborate on that? Because in your book, you suggest businesses focus on one marketing channel.
Yes.
And give it 105% focus.
Yes.
Why?
You can tell I'm not a mathematician. 105% it's just this idea that 100% isn't even good enough. Can you confidently say that you've given any marketing channel so much attention that you can confidently conclude whether it's a good marketing channel for your business or not? That's, I guess, the question. And we don't say to do it, for a year. We use a 90-day experiment. And it's because most of these channels we talked about, these push and pull ones, they take time to give you the results you want. And 90 days and 105%, it means you not just decided to do Google advertising. You're giving it so much attention that you're tweaking it and you're studying it, or you're working with a provider that you're collaborating with and you're both discussing results every couple of weeks. And it's giving it so much attention that you are never going to finish that experiment and wonder whether there was more you can do.
Well, there are so many marketing channels to choose from, though. How does a business know which is the right one to focus on?
There is no right and wrong channel. In fact, ideally, at the end of the day, you should have multiple marketing channels working to bring, your website traffic. But the idea is that if you start by getting rid of all of your biases that you have towards marketing channels, and remember, we hold biases based on what we use as individuals, based on what our competitors are doing, based on what we actually know something about. If you get rid of all of them, we call this the bullseye exercise. So you're basically brainstorming anything that's possible at all. You want to brainstorm absolutely everything. Then what you want to do is really open up your imagination and sit down, whether that's on your own or whether that's with a friend or a colleague or your team. And you go, okay, well, looking at that, what is realistic for our business? So is billboard advertising something we can afford? Is this realistic? And we then want you to select a number to investigate further. So you brainstorm absolutely everything that's possible. You might choose 6 or 7 or a certain number that you think is maybe a little bit more likely. And you go through this process of investigating each of these in more detail. And the reason we say to do this is because before you give something 105%, you want to actually go through the motions of figuring out what is the target volume on that channel? Who are the competitors on that channel? How would we execute it? How much would it cost? And actually going through the motions and doing the research up front so you feel more confident making that call. So then you pick one and you do it for 90 days at 105%, you should be able to figure out whether you're going to continue with it or whether you're going to cut it off and then move to the next one.
Well, let's say a business has decided upon a channel, and let's just for argument's sake say that it is LinkedIn.
Yeah.
What kind of messages, what kind of content should they be pushing forward onto it?
Every channel is unique. So it really just does depend on your business and what you're aiming to do. So before you tackle a new technique like that, what I'd recommend is doing what I call the 5 C's of marketing, which are consistency, commitment, clarity, communication, and constant improvement. So consistency is probably one of the biggest ones when it comes to tackling a new marketing channel. And to achieve 105% effort, it's really about figuring out this cadence, which isn't one of the official C's, but it is important in this context, how often you're going to participate in that channel. And that's a really big one, is the consistency, and then having clarity about what you're about to do and what you're about to achieve, making sure that you're all committed to it. Goals is a really big one too. So with something like LinkedIn, it's often hard to know what's possible. And I think having an understanding of really what you're setting out to achieve means that you can really clearly figure out whether it's worked or not. With channels like LinkedIn or with social media, there are so many experts out there that will teach you what you need to know that I think that it's great to actually, once you've committed to it, go out and learn as much as you can about executing it yourself and give it a really great go.
What mistakes do you see businesses make in their marketing message?
When it comes to communicating your brand and the message, and I guess trying to capture a customer's attention in that split second of time that you have, the mistakes I often see businesses doing are positioning themselves and their solution at the start of the conversation. And I'll explain that just quickly in a bit more detail. Your company and your solution isn't the hero of the story. The most important part of the message is actually the problem that your customers have. And the quicker you can go to the problem, their problem, and then positioning your solution secondary to that, the more customers are going to stop and actually take it in. So if you're dealing with something like split secondish, like a billboard or a television ad, or basically any kind of method at the front like that, the quicker you can say, hey, we know that this problem sucks. We understand this problem. And our entire business exists to help solve that problem for you, the better you're going to do when it comes to your marketing message. And you'd be surprised how many businesses very quickly go to, we are the leaders in this XYZ at the forefront of their communication. It very quickly stops people reading. So that's the biggest mistake I see.
At the end of the day, how does a business know if their marketing activities have worked?
Honestly, you can tell. Depends how big your sales cycle is. Often it is the case that your sales cycle might actually be up to 6 months. So something that you did 6 months ago might only show a result later. But that's why breaking that journey down from a stranger to your biggest fan in your marketing system is important, because you need to focus on your marketing at the very start, these marketing channels, as a mechanism to get people to just the next step. And the next step for most businesses is normally visiting a website. So if you're actually tracking that smaller step rather than going, how many times has this billboard generated a customer for us? If you go all the way back and go, okay, well, how much traffic are we getting to our website that's considered direct or from the billboard? That's a better way of actually deciding whether it's worked for you or not, because they're the goals you've set out to achieve. So often is the case that we put all this pressure on the marketing channels at the front, thinking that they're there to solve all the problems. They're not. They're just there to help execute a very small part of the customer journey. And that's how you can identify whether it's working or not.
That was Amy Miocevich, founder of Lumos Marketing. This episode of Business Essentials Daily is produced by the team at SoundCartel. Thanks for listening. I'm Nicole Goodman. We'll bring you more Be Daily tomorrow. Follow at BE Daily Podcast across social media and head to bedaily.com.au for more from the Business Essentials Daily podcast. SoundCartel. This episode was brought to you by Forvis Mazars. To find out more, visit forvismazars.com/au. That's FORVISMAZARS.com/au.